What's happening, guys? Just wanted to show off my clean intake manifold. This is one of the biggest reasons why I really like the Lt4, because of this intake manifold. Yes, I understand you can get a regular Lt1 and have it powder coated red. That's not my goal here. But the thing is, the Lt4, I don't know. I just really like the way that these intake manifolds look painted. It doesn't necessarily have to be red. I've seen a couple of them since I've owned my car, and they were blue. Some of them were black. Some of them were orange. I really like them, and I think that I just like this intake manifold painted. It looks like it deserves to be painted. I don't understand why GM... I do understand because they're cheap. But anyway, I don't understand why GM insisted on keeping this bare, rough cast aluminum with just the machine surface. Now, I understand, realistically, I think every Corvette owner would have liked a little splash of color in the engine bay. I don't really think that the silver looks great, because it doesn't stand out, I guess. I don't know. I do love the way that this red is, because it's just, yeah. But anyway, so, the Torque Head 24X system is going on my car. That's definitely a given. That's going to happen. That's happening. It's going to happen. But anyway, so before I get going on the other stuff I was going to talk about, just side note, I am selling my Lt4's flywheel. Now, obviously, you'll have to balance it to your needs, but it was balanced for my original rotating assembly for my Lt4. I don't know if that's going to be different for your Lt1, but I did get an Lt1 weighted one to put with my Lt1, and it worked out fantastic for the short time that I had it on there. So anyway, I did end up going with a single mass flywheel, so I do have two dual mass flywheels sitting around. I'm going to be holding on to the one with the low miles. This one here has 125,000 miles on it. I don't remember right off the top of my head what my car has on it as far as mileage. But anyway, it's in good shape. It's usable. And it's, it looked pretty rough when I took it off, but I guess that's just how they end up looking. Probably shouldn't be touching it, but I am. I'll clean it off. But anyway, I do have oil on it, and I'm storing it, so it's not going to be rusty or anything. But anyway, I am selling this. I've determined a $300 asking price is reasonable for a used flywheel in this condition. And if you guys are interested, send me a message in the comment section. I am willing to let it go. I can send you more pictures of it, yada yada yada. But anyway, $300, that's what I want for it. And if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If you think that's too high, then I would ask that you do some research. These don't come up for sale very often, and when I was looking for mine, or my extra one, that I ended up putting in my car, it was due to a lot of research, and it just happened to come across me, and these don't come up for sale very often. That being said, if you shoot me a reasonable offer, we'll see. I might trade for stuff. I don't know, but yeah. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. So here's the what's left for the torque head setup that I got to do. I have to install these and get my spark plug wires kind of trimmed and set where they need to go. Another thing there, I do have my original OptiSpark that is going to be going on this rebuild. Oh yeah, so this one here is actually going to just get a stock rebuild. I'm just going to freshen it up. That's the crank I'm using. Those are the pistons I'm using, and I think I'm going to mate that up to the 700 R4 that I have and put it in something That's fantastic. I'm going to be using this computer here. This one's out of an Impala, and it's out of a 95 Impala. So that's going to be some fun stuff there. So, my oil pan ready to go. I need to put that back on. I'm going to be doing my push rods, and then I'm going to flip the motor over, put the oil pan on, and then I'm going to flip it back over, and then we'll be at the point in time where we have to prime the oiling system. And yeah, I'm not gonna pull that off. Basically, where I'm at with the motor right now is I need to replace a rocker stud. When I went to torque them down, one of them just kind of kept turning. So after I pulled it apart, I noticed that it had stretched, and I was only at I was even using a manual old school torque wrench, and I didn't even get to 12 foot-pounds of force, and it was already trying to turn a lot more than it should. You know what I mean? I held it there because I was taking a breath, and the torque was loosening up, and I felt it basically stretching the bolt. So I was like, oh boy. So my assumption, and I looked at the rocker arm from that stud, and it looked like it had been damaged at some point. Not too bad. I mean, I'm 100% sure I can use it. It was on cylinder 7 originally, but being that I'm rebuilding everything, cylinder 7 ended up being cylinder 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and replace the stud and the rocker arm, just be on the safe side. And yeah, so I did get 3/8 studs for the whole shebang. So what is going to end up happening is I am going to eventually get a set of rocker arms and replace all of the Lt4, the original Lt4 rocker arms. I was going to reuse them and stick with them for a while. But after that happened, I'm not so sure I want to continue using them. I understand, hindsight's 2020. But if honestly, okay, grand scheme of things, if I had to do this again, the Lt4 motor is irrelevant at this point. Yes, it's bigger heads, bigger cam by default, but at the same time, I'm sitting in a situation where I'm dealing with oddball parts that GM does not have an aftermarket for. Nobody has an aftermarket for. So realistically speaking, it is no different than, say, my RX-7 rotary motors. So they're fun until they break. And in this situation, I have a 12A for my rotary motor. They don't make any of the 12A stuff anymore. It's hard to find stuff. And if I want to find stuff, I have to buy used stuff. And so I need to get away from that stuff. So at this point in time, my car is, I'm basically building it to future-proof itself. And in hindsight, I would have pursued different rocker arms and rocker arm studs before, but they all looked good until I went to reinstall them, and clearly one of them had a defect, and that's just what it is. It's the nature of the beast. You can't plan for this stuff and make it automatically. You can't plan for it and just make sure that you're going to be bulletproof with it unless you know that. I'm not. I'm not adverse to using old parts. I grew up using old parts. The junkyards are there for a reason. And, not every part needs to be replaced. And that's just kind of how I've always been. This motor, however, as I'm going down, I'm looking at the cost of rebuilding what I have versus getting replacements versus longevity, and that's kind of where I'm at with things. And yeah, so one rocker arm out of the whole lot, which I am getting the GM Performance, which is the replacement for these rockers. So that's just going to be the one that I'm replacing. But eventually I'm going to replace the rockers. I might actually go bigger, and the reason why is because I have plenty of valve clearance, and I might end up going bigger, or eventually I might get a bigger cam. Who knows? We're just going to see how things end up panning out. So somebody was asking me that is local what head gaskets I ended up using. These are actually Molly head gaskets. They're formerly Victorines head gaskets, and this is a popular option that people would use as the Impala SS head gaskets. They're 26 thousandths crush on them, and the part number is 5898. Pretty thin head gasket, but not really a bad head gasket. They have a rubber coating on them. I ended up getting 2 sets of them because I wanted to use one set as a sacrificial piece, and that was because I knew I was going to be taking the heads on and off a couple times. So I crushed these to where they should be, and then ended up with what we need to do. So anyway. So as far as this block is concerned, this one's just going to be a stock rebuild. I got another block, which actually, ironically enough, that rotating assembly came out of. I'm going to be using that block. I'm going to basically bore, hone the cylinders and everything, and I'm going to deck the block. I'm going to basically do everything that after the fact, I learned about this one that I probably wanted to do. I'm going to do that to that block and basically make it to where I can use the Lt4, the thicker 41 thousandths head gaskets, the performance head gaskets. I'm going to use those head gaskets in lieu of these thinner head gaskets. I am going to locate another set of Lt4 heads, and I'm going to build up an identical motor plus for just a spare. And at the end of the day, I might not even. Basically, I'm just going to be building a short block, and I'm just going to build a short block and leave it as is, and just be fine with it. This right here is the crankshaft for it, so I've already got that situated. That's out of a 96. That's an Lt4 crank. It isn't forged, but it should be just fine for what I'm wanting to do here. That being said, so the only things I have left to do, I need to get my push rods. Those are in the mail right now. I can't really get too fast or too far ahead on this stuff because right now I'm waiting for my motor mounts from Corvette Central, and I really can't do anything until I get them. So that's kind of going to be my big hang up there. So circling back, my Lt4 crankshaft, my Lt4 flywheel, my original Lt4 flywheel, I am selling this. So if you guys are interested in this, then you are more than welcome to message me about this, and I will get your contact information, and we'll go from there. Anyway, $300 is what I'm asking for this. There are things that I might be interested in trading for it, but I prefer money because realistically speaking, those of you guys in the know, this has not been an inexpensive project, and basically I spent all that money this year on that motor. So anyway, yeah, so the torque head system's going to be, the torque head system is installed in every facet except for on the motor in the car. So I'm going to mock everything up, and then I'm going to take it all back off, and then I'm going to put it in when I get the motor in. So questions, comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I have another OptiSpark that I would be willing to trade or part with. I mean, this is an early type OptiSpark. It does not look like a GM unit. It looks like an aftermarket unit. It looks like a unit that wasn't used very much. I took it apart. It looks pretty decent. It doesn't look like it's been used much at all. But anyway, yeah, I'd be interested in letting that go too. I'm going to be putting that up on Facebook Marketplace. The flywheel is on Facebook Marketplace as well. So if you guys, like I said, if you guys are interested, let me know. Comment section below, private message me, and we'll get that taken care of. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.